Minnesota in probably 20 years. Bring gas.
Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
All right, boys. Here we are with our State of the Wolves Monday on the show, where a pattern has emerged with our Minnesota Timberwolves early in the season here, which we will dive into along with our favorite and least favorite things after the last week of Wolves basketball. A couple things to start. So all week long, it's Give to the Max week here. And boy, the Wolves were giving a lot of missed threes and bricks to the Nuggets on Saturday night. But we are throwing our weights, as always, behind the bond between, which is formerly Secondhand Hounds. All week long, we're raising money. It's for a great cause. We're all animal lovers, all dog lovers. I've had cats in the past. We're big animal people on Flagrant Howls and at Score North. And we're looking to raise money for the Bond Between, which has rescued over 30,000 dogs and cats over the years. And they build programs to help keep people with their pets. Oh, is that Barnabas? Yes. Oh, Judd, you're muted, by the way. Yeah.
Yep.
Barney.
Oh, who's a good boy?
He looks fake every time.
He doesn't look
fake.
Barney,
real.
you're not fake. You
He
tell
looks
him.
like a stuffed animal.
tell him to help.
Taxidermy.
Everybody
Barney.
help have pets out.
And you can listen to Barnabas. Listen to Barney. Go to scorenorth.com/donate if you have $5 or $5,000, which would be amazing, by the way. Scorenorth.com/donate. Shout out to Nutrisource matching up to $3,000 for this. And then Wolves Realtor Heather is here for our audience as well before we get to the State of the Wolves.
Yeah, how about some free Wolves tickets? If you want some free Wolves tickets to the Wizards game this week, go to wolvesrealtor.com. You can register for your chance to win 2 lower-level tickets to the Wolves and Wizards game this Wednesday. Plus, you get the free schedule magnet as well. And if you are interested, if you're just curious on the home buying, selling process, Heather has your back. She's a diehard Wolves fan, so you can talk hoops with her, and she can also help you guide you through a process of buying or selling your house. This is obviously, as someone who just did this, it can be a very overwhelming process. And when you have someone to talk hoops with that can also help you buy or sell your house, it's a perfect relationship. So go to wolvesrealtor.com to get in touch with Heather and to enter for your chance to win 2 free lower-level tickets to the Wolves-Wizards game on Wednesday.
All right. Yeah, go beat the Wizards, by the way. Got a couple games against the Wizards this season.
They love beating bad teams.
They do, which is going to be a theme here. We'll start with the overview. So the Wolves are currently 6th in the Western Conference. They have a 94% chance to make the playoffs, according to ESPN's Basketball Power Index. Only a 6% chance to get to the conference finals. Only a 0.5% chance to win the LOB, which is down from 1.2% last week. So apparently beating bad teams and then losing to the Nuggets at home cuts your championship chances in half, according to the Basketball Power Index. Offensive rating, the Wolves have the 4th best offense in the NBA. Defensive rating, pretty much smack dab in the middle, the 16th ranked defensive team, defensive rating. And all of that together means the Wolves have the 7th ranked net rating. So really good offensive team so far with this kind of league average defense, which is flip-flop from where they were at the start of the Rudy Gobert era, where they were one of the best defensive teams. They were number 1 defensive rating a couple years ago and just kind of grinding to be a league average offense. And they have flipped some of that. And I think the biggest storyline, which we can start off with here, is that there is a line that you can draw right across their wins and losses. If you are an above 500 team, you're beating the Timberwolves. If you're a bad team, the Wolves are beating you. The Wolves are 8-0 against teams below 500 and 0-5 against teams that are above 500. The only other team in the Western Conference that has not won a game against an above 500 team is the lowly New Orleans Pelicans, who are 2-11 and just fired their coach. So what do you make of this trend to start the season? Does it worry you guys at all that the Wolves are just only capable to this point of beating the bad teams?
It worries me slightly. As far as an 82-game season goes, it's probably a small sample size at 0-5, but I think it'd be foolish to dismiss it. And it's funny, for the last at least 2 years, what have we been saying? Just beat the bad teams. Would you please just step on their throats? You beat all these good teams, you can't beat the bad teams. And now it's like, we didn't mean don't beat the good teams. So I would say I'm mildly concerned about this. I'm not in close to yet a full-fledged panic. But Denver has come here twice so far in the early season and has beaten the Wolves on their home floor twice. So I think dismissing it would be foolish. I also think there's plenty of time to turn it around.
It's probably a good, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but of my least favorite thing, because Phil mentioned the defensive rating and how Rudy's now been here. This is, against the good team so far, has been kind of a really big Rudy Gobert problem. So Brandon Beck, Crunch Wears No Pants, he's come on Flagrant Howls before, friend of the show.
Little Brandon.
He tweeted out yesterday morning. So this because the Wolves didn't play the Nuggets last night. They played them on Saturday. So going into yesterday, Rudy Gobert versus teams at or below 500 has a plus 23.4 net rating. So the bad teams, Rudy is feasting on. That's great. Teams above 500, 5 games played, a minus 15.8 net rating. And if you just take his defensive rating as a whole, which is 124.9 against those 500-plus teams, that would rank 29th in a team NBA. Like, only the Nets. So when they're playing good teams, Rudy Gobert basically turns into one of the least efficient players in the NBA. Now, it's 5 games. It's an incredibly small sample size. I don't think that this plays out over 82 games. But Rudy is a lightning rod for the exact type of stuff that was just laid out here by Brandon. And it is something I think to monitor. I'm not panicking fully yet, but against good teams, this has become a Rudy Gobert problem, and hopefully it can maybe correct itself through the course of the regular season.
Yeah, there is, man, it's the problem is, like, if there's a Rudy Gobert problem, I'll frame it this way. Against good teams or even just in general inconsistent at age 33, what do you do? Like, what do you ship him off? Okay, he is still in a lot of cases a really good defensive big. They don't have much of a defensive solution that doesn't involve Rudy Gobert at this point, short of overhauling their entire defensive strategic profile halfway through the season. It is something to keep an eye on. I would say, aside from some of the Rudy Gobert stuff, and that's really good information, it doesn't really concern me because it's 0-5 against above 500 teams. 2 of those are against the Nuggets, who you have dominated largely the last couple of years. I do think the Nuggets roster better now than it was a year ago, and they're probably back in the championship mix. Mm-hmm. But the first loss to the Nuggets, Anthony Edwards didn't play. And the second loss to the Nuggets, Anthony Edwards had his worst, in terms of efficiency, offensive game of the year. I think he was 0 for 8 from 3, wasn't he? Yeah, he was 0 for 8 from 3, 8 of 23 from the floor, couldn't buy a bucket. And despite that, the Wolves came all the way back. They put up a fight. So if he just has kind of a more normal night offensively, I think they beat the Nuggets on Saturday night, and it's probably not much of an elephant in the room. And going forward, I feel like they're going to rise up. Julius Randle talked about it too, that, it's obviously disappointing, but they do feel like they rise up against, and they've shown that in the playoffs. Like, they have elevated their performance in the playoffs above where people think against Hall of Fame players and good teams, well-coached teams, et cetera. So I put more stock in them dominating bad teams than I do them losing their first 5 games to good teams, because I feel like it's going to break even a little bit more against the good teams, and them dominating bad teams is something we have been begging them to do more often. Take it more seriously. Anthony Edwards, whatever you got to do to get excited for that night, if it's scoring title, whatever it may be. Yep. And they certainly did that in the second half, anyways, against the Kings on Friday night. So let's go positivity here. What is your current favorite Timberwolves thing?
Mine is Naz. So it was a rough start, and we've talked about his personal issues of obviously with his sister being killed right before the season. But he has now scored in double digits in 3 of the past 4 games against Sacramento on Friday. He had what? He had 4 assists, 12 rebounds, 12 points. And then he comes back on Saturday against Denver, 19 points, hit 7 of 11 shots from the field, 3 assists, 6 boards. So it feels like Naz is starting to get back into who he can be and the expectation there. And it's just nice to see, because I think we all certainly felt a ton of empathy for him. So that's my favorite thing, is you're starting to see the sixth man Naz return to who he is. And it's understandable that he didn't get off to a good start, but this is certainly encouraging to see.
Yeah. I think there was very little doubt that he would snap back into it at some point, but man, that they've been just kind of missing that instant offense, that quick release three. He could just, when he gets hot from three, he can just change a game so quickly, and his energy. So it is nice to see him kind of stepping forward. And maybe he needed to go a couple weeks ago. Maybe he needed to go and see some family in New York when they were on that East Coast road trip. Maybe that was just some, I don't know, some good family time. And now he's back playing a little bit closer to the Naz Reid that we know. Dex, what is your current favorite Timberwolves thing?
So their offensive team rating, I think Phil, you pointed out, it's 4th right now in the NBA. Also, by the way, I don't know if like the sausage is made just like slightly different. So if you go on NBA.com, they're 119.1 in offensive rating. That's the 4th best in the NBA, which is great. On Basketball Reference, it's 120.0. It's pretty similar though. So my favorite thing, though, is that would obviously be like the best offensive net rating in franchise history for the Wolves. Now, the last two, 116.6, which was last season, and 115.6, which was the season before, they've accomplished this in the last 2 years. But this offense is currently, at least in a still a smaller sample size, on pace to be even more efficient than last year. I do want their defensive rating as a whole to even out and become and improve more. But right now, they're on pace for one of their the best offensive season in franchise history. So if you're going to regress or drop off a little bit defensively, you're obviously going to need your offense to carry more of the load and try to even out some of that deficiencies. So offensively, collectively, I've liked what I've seen from the Wolves, and obviously the numbers reflected as the most effective offensive net rating team in franchise history.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy that they literally have an unplayable offensive unplayable meaning you can't really pass Rudy the ball or do anything with him offense other than set screens and throw down lobs and whatnot. So you're not fully playing 4-on-5 offensively because his presence, you do have to account for it, and he'll clean stuff up around the glass and whatever. But the fact that they are so good offensively with one of the least effective and wide-ranging offensive skill sets in the league, playing 25, 30 minutes is pretty incredible. I would say I'm actually going to kind of loop in offense and Rudy Gobert into one of my favorite things. We were very worried there for a while a year ago about, well, how will Julius Randle gel with the rest of his teammates, but specifically Rudy Gobert?
Yep.
And wouldn't you know now, they gelled pretty well last year, but the Timberwolves' best two-man lineup combination this season, net rating, it's a plus 20 per 100 possessions when Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle are on the court together. It's been some of the other combos that they've had trouble with. When like Gobert and Naz Reid are out there together, it's been a little bit clunky. We went over a couple weeks ago some of the, like when Julius and Naz Reid are on the court at the same time, it can get a little dicey. Although it was better over the weekend in some spots. They found some way. There's no choice, by the way. Those are your three bigs. You have to play. There's no way you can be like, these are our three bigs. But we can't ever have Julius Randle and Naz Reid playing together because it's not a great fit last year or this year. You got to figure it out. And Chris Finch has kind of let them try to figure some things out this year. And there's some good stuff in and around some of the pokes you can make at Gobert. There's some good stuff in some of the lineup combo data too. So can I also add, Jaden McDaniels looked like he died 3 times on Friday night. That dude, what the knee or leg twisting?
That was yeah.
I thought watching that. So it's funny. We were out with some friends. We were at a bar in Northeast with the volume down, and I saw him like taking off his jersey and just despondent.
Tossed it at the scores table.
Yeah, it was a rough night for old Jaden, but he is lucky that fall and the twisting of the knee didn't result in like multiple ligament tears. The fact that he came back in the game and then played a back-to-back is pretty incredible.
His post-game quote was great, though.
Yeah.
I just want to go home.
I just want to go home. That was like the most honest.
I just want to go home, dude.
It was just great. I just want to go home. Well, the knee thing was scary, but how about getting? I think he took like a Naz kick right to the groin.
Yeah, those are big feet, man.
I mean, yeah, that would.
It's a size 20 coming right up in
I'm
your...
guessing with basketball players, that is a very vulnerable spot that's not well protected.
It's, I don't think they're...
I don't think they're wearing...
They're definitely not wearing... They're not wearing cups.
Yeah, they're not wearing restrictive materials down there. Ow. I know.
I would say also, just to add another favorite Wolves thing, back to Anthony Edwards for a second, the fact that his previous clunkers were like 2 for 14, he scores 10 points and doesn't really do anything else to impact the game except maybe a little bit of defense here and there. That you can have a pretty good Anthony Edwards clunker offensively against the Nuggets, and he is still bringing it on defense. He's smothering Jamal Murray and other players, and he still finds a way to score 26 points and shoot 12 free throws and grab a bunch of rebounds and get open looks for teammates. There was a play against the Nuggets, like kind of late in the first half, where it might have been like right at the end of the first half. I'd have to go back and watch, but he starts driving down the lane to his right. Like he's coming off kind of the left wing, starts driving down the lane to his right. And old Anthony Edwards, I think, starts driving in that spot and either tries to get to the rim, maybe gets fouled, maybe misses, maybe pulls up or something and takes a contested shot. Anthony Edwards, the new version, playmaking, film studying Anthony Edwards, goes down the lane to his right, kind of cutting through the middle to right side of the lane with multiple Denver defenders to his left and in front of him. And he sees, I believe it was, Naz Reid wide open in the corner. Flings a pass over like 4 heads, skip pass, wide open in the corner, bang, pull the trigger, knock down a 3-pointer, right? Like that level of playmaking where you're using your gravity, even on a night where you're not shooting well, you're 0 for 8 from 3. Can I use my gravity to get someone else a wide open look from 3? Boom. Now we're 3 points closer. Mm-hmm. You can kind of see the maturity manifesting. Even Judd, you had texted me the other night too about like his post game. It was either pre or post game quotes.
It was post game Friday after they beat the Kings.
Yeah. Let's dive into that for a second before we get to our least favorite Wolves things, because he's showing this level. He does. I believe him too. He's essentially saying, I don't really want to be like the face of the league. I just want to show up. And there's a humility to his style and his game, but also the way he plays on the court. He plays like a blue collar franchise carrying player, and his personality is such that he could probably be that face of the league.
Yep.
But he's very humble and very willing to sort of blend in with teammates and take coaching and criticism. So I don't know. We were just texting about how I think we both appreciate maybe the step up in maturity, both on the court and off the court, with Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, he gave a pretty lengthy post-game presser, I guess, on Friday, and a couple things stood out. One is there were no swear words, which a year ago he would filter in a bunch. Now, I think he gets fined now for that, so he probably is being cognizant.
Yeah.
But his level of maturity in talking to the media post-game definitely rose above, I think, what we saw a lot in the last couple of years. That was nice. The other thing is, this is at least the second time that he has brought up, I do not want to be the face of the league. Like, his response has been, there's a lot of guys for that, not me. But this is why I also think like the paranoia that's never made sense to me, and this is from a guy that likes to panic, has been like, he's going to want out someday. He's going to want out. Like, unless the franchise goes in the toilet, which they're not clearly right now, I don't think, the more I listen to him, because I believe it, I don't think he wants the hassle. And so, like, I don't think this is a guy who's like, I want to play for the Lakers. I want to play for the Knicks. Because if you do, guess what? You become the face of the league. Like, then the league is descending upon you. So I think he likes it here. Now, that does not mean that if they get bad, he will want to stay. But I think, like, this fear of, oh, the bright lights, and a lot of guys love that. I think he sincerely doesn't want it. I think he is a Georgia kid who likes being off the radar. I think he appreciates the fact that he's great and he is, and he's certainly respected. But I don't think he wants like all of the smoke that comes with, I am now a Knick and I am on 18 billboards.
I'm trying to think of if there's a comp in the history of the NBA of a guy who has that dynamic of a personality. There's been superstars who don't really want to be superstars. Tim Duncan's the classic example, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He just is.
But he didn't want to talk. Like, he wasn't.
Correct.
He didn't
have a personality, basically. Is there a guy that had the personality, but simultaneously kind of stiff-armed the attention in the way that Anthony Edwards does? I'd have to think more about that.
Not the guys that Ant admires the most. I mean, Jordan was Jordan. Kobe was a Laker.
Those guys are kind of similar in that, but those guys were the face of the league in their eras. But they didn't they leaned into it in so much as like, okay, you can definitely make me the front-facing shoe brand guy, and I'll be in commercials. Anthony Edwards is in commercials, has a shoe deal. But at the end of the day, those guys were in the gym at 3:30 in the morning or whatever, odd times, hoisting up 2,000 shots and doing one-handed, step back dribble mechanic things.
Right.
So they have that in common for sure.
Yet I just don't recall them being like, I don't want to do this. Like, he is literally telling you, I do not want to do this.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one, but I do think that is why this this team is a perfect fit for him.
Yeah, it's all kind of under the radar. It's all kind of, hey, before we get to our least favorite Wolves things here on this State of the Wolves Monday, Element Hotel, one of our favorite places if you're looking to stay overnight or make a weekend out of it, downtown Minneapolis.
Yes, scorenorth.com/element for 15% off your room rate. Speaking of the Bond Between, which we're supporting here, you can bring your pets. You can bring your dogs, little friends there to the Element Hotel. It's got free Wi-Fi. It has a fitness center. It has a business center. It has everything you want from your hotel. And then location-wise, it's perfect. It's just a few blocks from Target Center. It's in the heart of the North Loop, too. Tons of breweries and restaurants. Whether you're in town for a Wolves game or you're just doing a little staycation action, Element Hotel. Got the West End beds there, too, man. Some of the best beds around. So go to scorenorth.com/element for 15% off your room rate.
Also, shout out to Awaken 180 Weight Loss, our guy Doogie from the Channel 5 Sports Department, who's been a regular fixture, Purple Daily, Flagrant Howls, Score North Twin Show. He's down almost 25 pounds in the last 2 or 3 months. Awaken 180 Weight Loss puts together a plan to support your goal, whatever your goal weight is, but also one that fits in with your lifestyle. Allows you still to travel, to go out to restaurants, to enjoy your life in a way that helps you lose weight as well. So if you want to find out more, go to awaken180weightloss.com. Tell them that either Doogie or Score North sent you, or you can call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Joe, what is your least favorite current Wolves thing?
All right, so we started off the show talking about the fact that the Wolves have yet to beat a team over 500, 0-5. So I'm going to go with another small sample size thing, okay? So probably too early to jump on this one, but nonetheless, I'm going to do it. And that is this. Of the 10 teams that would be in the playoffs or the play-in in the Western Conference in the National Basketball Association, the Wolves have the worst home record so far. They're 3-3. Nobody else is even 500. Now, some of the bad teams are. But, I would just say this. Don't let this become a trend.
Wow,
it's your
we're
home
just
floor.
letting teams walk into
It's your
our
home
house.
Floor. You know what? It bugged me. The Denver loss bugged me. The Lakers loss really bugged me. These are teams you need to take care of business. Just ask your friends, the Vikings. You need to take care of business every day at home. Taking care of business. That's right. And the Wolves have not. And so, like, I would just say, don't let this become a trend. Your home floor is incredibly important at the end of the day. Everything we're talking about sort of has to go to one common theme, I think, and that is staying out of flirting with the play-in. I want nothing to do with the play-in. You don't want to play the extra games. You're too good. So my least favorite thing is in 6 games, the Wolves at home have won 3 of them. I'd like to see that change starting tonight against Cooper Flag and the Mavs.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely beat the Cooper Flags of the world at home. Definitely beat the Kings at home. But even more so, yeah, like you shouldn't be losing more than like 8 or 9 home games if you're one of the actual badass teams in the Western Conference.
Right.
You'll see some years where like Oklahoma City, have they lost a home game yet?
Probably not.
I mean, they've only lost. Yeah, they've lost what, 1 game? They're 13-1
or 13-1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you blink and they rack up 2-3 more wins there.
No, you just age and you think you see something.
They're 6-0 at home. Yeah. There's a good chance that like Oklahoma City only loses 5 home games all year long. They were 35-6 at home last year. The best teams in the league, and this was a problem last year. The best teams in the league are losing like maybe 10 or 12 home games. The Wolves lost 16 of them a year ago.
There you go.
So you've already given you 3 to start the year.
Yeah.
Let's go on a run here, huh? Man. Lock the doors. Don't let the opposing.
Let's go on a run here. How about 10 consecutive wins at home?
They also have one of the easiest schedules over the next like 3 weeks. You guys laid it out there, but the next 11 games: Mavs, Wizards, Suns, Kings. They do have the Thunder in there. Celtics, the Pelicans a couple times, the Spurs, Clippers, Suns. So I don't know. I gave my least favorite thing about the Rudy stats against good teams, but we probably outside of the Thunder game, we won't really have a good sample of to up some of those numbers against some of the good teams over the next few weeks here either.
Yeah, well, rack them
and then rack up W's.
Yeah, rack up W's against.
Thanks, Jameis.
Is that your current least favorite thing? The upcoming schedule, or do you have a different one there, Dex?
No, my least favorite one was the Gobert thing off the top of just against the good teams. He has obviously had a huge problem here, but it's like this weird issue where you want to remove Rudy Gobert from the team in general. Well, then that actually probably opens up Pandora's box to something that you do not want to experience unless there is a viable replacement solution there for Rudy.
Yeah, you can't, like, I know there's a lot of people that get frustrated by him, and we've had these ongoing conversations, but like, unless there's a solution or a replacement that makes sense, it's a non-starting conversation. Plus, Tim Connolly told a guy who knows a guy at a coffee shop last week on the Flagrant Howls Anonymous tip line pretty quickly, no, we would not consider trading.
I believe this.
So I don't know what more you could ask for there. I would say my favorite current Wolves thing, aside from some of the stuff we've already kicked around, is Jaylen Clark has become one of my favorite players on this team. He was already headed that direction. Mm-hmm. I love that Chris Finch has now given this dude minimum 11, 12 minutes in the rotation. And some nights he's a 20-minute rotation guy, just depending. And he just looks the part of a great defensive pest of a rotation player. He's in there hiding in the weeds on inbounds passes. He's trying to steal inbounds passes. He's hounding the point of attack from their own free throw line as they cross half court. And he's been knocking down threes. You know, he's not like a huge volume shot taker. That's not his job on this team. But he's doing exactly what you needed. Just being a guy that he can take pressure off Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards when they're on the court together. Hey, you don't have to be guarding the initiator here. You go play off ball. Maybe you go hunt for a block, Jaden McDaniels, and you can kind of take a breather here and then focus on offense on the next possession. So he helps fill a much needed gap And I love that Finch has been trusting him to play, 10 to 20 minutes every single night.
He's done nothing ever to make you question if he should be playing.
Yeah,
like that's what I love about it. He doesn't make you doubt.
He's also the type of guy that in this brewing Nuggets rivalry that now goes back a few years to when they beat the Wolves in the playoffs and the Wolves came back, beat them in a Game 7, etc. And there's a lot of Nuggets fans doing victory laps like they finally got one over on the Wolves with these 2 wins, whatever.
Sure.
And I'm sure the pendulum will swing back at some point. It's becoming a really good Western Conference rivalry over the years. And Jaylen Clark is the perfect little grenade to throw into a rivalry. He's the type. He's got a smile on his face all the time, but he's the type of Energizer bunny that could piss somebody off in like Game 4 at home, get the crowd into it.
I love that.
He's just in your jersey the entire game, and Jamal Murray throws a heating pad on the court or something. Yeah.
I will say, just quickly, from a Wolves perspective, one of my least favorite things, because I thought it was crazy at the time, and I guess it wasn't, was in April when the Nuggets blew out their GM Calvin Booth and Mike Malone, and we're all like, what the hell? I think it was the right call. Like, it feels like the bench is being deployed more. Like they are more of a problem now than they were previously for the Timberwolves, I think.
Yeah. They also, they did the weird Russell Westbrook experiment for last season, and it just there was a couple times where he brought old Russ back. But their lineup construction sneakily is back to being, 9 or 10 deep. The having Valanciunas, for example, this gigantic,
who I love,
7-foot oaf.
I love that.
He's just in there. He's hard to play against, man. Like he's just. So yeah, he adds a little element. So there's been some roster construction stuff, but yeah, it's like 13, 15 minutes of this bearded man from the wilderness that comes
I love
out
that guy,
and
man.
Stands there in the lane.
Bulls, right?
It's a great term.
No. He was previously with the Pelicans. He was
okay.
Yeah. You might be thinking of a different large bearded man, but yeah, he's been. I don't think he's going to be necessarily like a catalyst in a 7-game series if these two teams meet in the playoffs. But he is the type of player too that for like 14 minutes he's going to piss somebody off, and he did it a couple times.
Plus, he got
took a couple hard fouls. Yeah, he was on those bad Pelicans teams. Actually, they had a couple decent teams with him for a couple years. But he started his career in Toronto back like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Guy's been all over the place. So, all right, dudes, that's your State of the Wolves here on this Monday. Flagrant Howls. Click that subscribe button, the like button if you enjoy these Flagrant Howls episodes. Help grow our YouTube channel. We just launched this back in like June as a standalone YouTube channel. So thanks to everyone who has clicked that subscribe button. Help us get to our next milestone, which is 7,000 subscribers here maybe sometime in the coming weeks. For the Sports Dad Judd, for Dex, I'm Phil, and this is a Timberwolves Lifestyle Podcast.